Good morning, everyone, and welcome to beautiful Sunset Park on this lovely Sunday morning. It is playoff Sunday at the Jack Grafmeier Memorial Tournament, and for the Hill United Chiefs, a date with the Pueblo Bandits, a regular member at the ISC World Tournament. The Bandits finished second in their pool with a record of 3-1. They fell last night in a battle for first place against the Kegel Black Knights by a score of 6-2. For the Hill United Chiefs, as you might expect, a dominant performance on their way to a perfect 4-0 record in pool play. They outscored their opponents to the tune of 40-1 and have a team batting average entering this semifinal affair this morning of .453, and there have been some fabulous offensive performances. But before that, we'll set the defense for you for this morning's semifinal against Pueblo. In the outfield, Quentin Bruce, Brad Ezekiel, Alan Pecker. In the outfield, around the diamond, Nick Shales at third, Lenny Villavazzo is the shortstop, Tony Gonzalez at second, and Pipolo Lopez will once again start at first with young Argentine catcher Luciano Biondi. And the starting pitcher will also be from Argentina. He is Martin Gonzalez. Gonzalez about to make his third appearance of the Jack Grafmeier Memorial Tournament. So far here in Kimberley, Gonzalez has thrown a total of 6 innings, yet to give up a run. One of the newcomers to this staff, along with Justin Schofield, who was with Hill United 5 years ago and has returned this year. 6 innings for Gonzalez, no runs, given up 4 hits, struck out 9, and walked no one to this point. His most recent outing was a 5-inning shutout victory over the AHI Reapers, who ended up second in Hill United's pool, and they're on the other diamond up above us on top of the hill, taking on Kegel in the other semifinal affair. And we are very close to getting started. There is some incoming weather, we are told, potentially after 12 noon or maybe 1 o'clock. The championship final, by the way, is now slated to begin immediately after this game, which was not the original plan, but that's how it is going now. And leading things off against the Chiefs and Martin Gonzalez for the Pueblo Bandits, who won their own tournament, by the way, the Joe Santos Memorial a couple of weeks ago, is Roberto Sierra. Sierra is from Mexico. He hit .308 at last year's ISC World Tournament in Surrey, British Columbia. And the first pitch finds the outside corner for a strike. In chatting with head coach of the Chiefs, Jeff Ellsworth, yesterday about Martin Gonzalez, the one thing that he pointed to about this veteran pitcher is he likes his demeanor. Never seems too high, too low. And that is something about this right-hander that Ellsworth really appreciates as he gets ahead of Sierra. And the drop ball just misses down and away. A ball and 2 strikes. Mentioned it earlier. Pueblo in the other group of 5 teams finished with a record of 3-1. Their lone blemish at the hands of the first place finishing Kegel Black Knights, taking on the AHI Reapers in the other semifinal affair. What a setting for almost anything here at Sunset Park. It came highly advertised, and it has lived up to its billing this weekend. Certainly for myself, my first trip here. Sierra hits it well and deep and gone. Roberto Sierra opens the game with a solo homer as it just continued to carry and carry. Looked like center fielder Brad Esical might have a play on it, but it just would not stop carrying and made its way over the left center field wall. Not a full swing, just made some pretty good contact on it. And just over the wall, and Pueblo strikes first. Just the second run given up by the Hill United, swung on and missed by number 7. He's 28 years old, a member of the Dominican national team. I have yet to see the Dominican name their final roster as of yet for the upcoming World Cup, but would expect, with how he performed last year, talking about Figueroa at the Pan American Championship where he hit .273, and then a very respectable 4 for 17 at the World Cup qualifier way back last March in Mexico. Would certainly think he would be a strong candidate, as there are 2 or 3 members of that team playing for Pueblo. Figueroa got into that in a big way. Did it stay fair? The answer is yes. What a beginning for the Bandits, as Figueroa launches that just fair down the right field line. Back-to-back home runs to open the game for the Bandits. And not the type of beginning that the Hill United Chiefs were looking for. As head coach Jeff Ellsworth on his way to chat with Martin Gonzalez. Sierra and Figueroa have homered to start this semifinal affair. Even when you are the Hill United Chiefs, at some point in a significant tournament, you're likely to run into a little bit of adversity, and that is how the morning is started. Is on the topic of Dominican national team members, here's 30-year-old Nestor Nova, the shortstop. This one is high towards Quentin Bruce in left, and he'll make the easy catch for out number 1. As Gonzalez looks to get on track after having about as rough a start as you could have. But I always find with these early morning starts with pitchers, they can be particularly difficult. Get yourself fresh and ready out of bed. And this one is clobbered, and it's not coming back. Off the bat of young catcher Alex Del Valle, who had a great tournament back in Pueblo a couple of weeks ago. And this young hitting star, he launches one. And it's 3-0. And that an absolute no-doubter. Del Valle from Sonora, Mexico, hit .467 at a World Cup qualifying event last year in Mexico. He was also 10 for 28 with 7 runs batted in the U18 2023 U18 Men's World Cup. So Del Valle, he will become a hot commodity in these circles moving forward if he continues to swing it like that. And now the veteran Edgar Prischker is the batter. So 3 home runs for Pueblo in the top of the first. And there is activity, to no one's surprise, as Justin Schofield starts to get ready down the line for the Hill United Chiefs. And a strikeout with a rise ball, first of the day, to get Prischker. And the batter is a newcomer in Jason Augustin. And I believe he hails from the Dominican Republic as well. And had a good swing at that inside offering from Martin Gonzalez. What a start for the Bandits. Gets away from catcher Luciano Biondi. Is the battery for the Hill United Chiefs and all Argentine crew. Ball and 2 strikes to Augustin. As the sun starts to break through the clouds on this Sunday morning. On the ground, Shales to end a bit of a stunning first. The Chiefs can swing it. Everybody knows that. They'll need to in this semifinal. They trail it early by 3. Hill United, 3 solo home runs for Pueblo, the Bandits, in the top of the first as we set the lineup for the Chiefs, who have scored 40 runs in their 4 games and have batted collectively a team .453. And here is the lineup. Alan Pecker to lead it off. Ezekiel, Nick Shales. How's Nick's tournament been? How about 8 for 9 with 4 home runs and 8 runs batted in? That's having a weekend. And they might need more from him in this semifinal, the way the game has begun. The starting pitcher is youngster Humberto Valdez from Sonora, Mexico. His last international event was at the 2020 U18 World Cup, where he went 1-1 with a 4.20 ERA. And this is a lineup that I'm guessing he hasn't faced much of in his young career. The star of last year's championship Saturday at the ISC World Tournament, Alan Pecker from Paraná, Argentina, to lead it off. He's 2 for 6 here this weekend. He's doubled, tripled, and had a bases clearing triple for his 3 runs batted in the 11-1 triumph yesterday over the Midland Explorers. And we'll see how the Chiefs respond in their first weekend of the 2025 season to a little adversity. Is Valdez set to deliver his first pitch, and he misses down and away. Pecker on that championship set. You can really not have a better day than the one that Pecker enjoyed last August 17th. And not only can he hit it deep and drive it to all areas. He has terrific speed as he swings and misses at that 2-0 pitch. Missed significant time a year ago with injury. It did not allow him to play for his home country in a World Cup qualifying event, but to no one's surprise, he is a member of their 16-man unit that will play for the World Cup in a month in Prince Albert. And there are many pundits who feel like Argentina has as good an opportunity to win that world crown, something they did back in 2019, again. As Pecker looking to get things going offensively for the Chiefs. And he rips it for a base hit. His third hit of the tournament. And exactly what the Chiefs would want to do is respond to that tough top of the first. And here's Brad Ezekiel. 5 for 7 here in Kimberley. He's homered and he's driven in 5. And his home run, they're still looking for it in the trees in left center. And he gets into this one, but it's a line shot right at Augustin, who makes the catch in left. You can't really hit it any harder than Bradley Ezekiel just did. As Valdez wanted the outside portion, he left it on the inside half. It was driven with authority, but right into the glove of Jason Augustin. And there's one away for Nick Shales. Mentioned it when we took a look at the lineup. 8 for 9, 4 home runs, 8 runs batted in. For the longtime veteran, a 10-time ISC All-World member. And has looked like it this weekend. As he fouls that away. Shales had 7 home runs all of last season, which for him wasn't quite as productive as we've come to accustom his entire time in ISC and world circles. But if this weekend is any indication, he is a ways away from the sunset of his career. On the move was Pecker, and another hit. Pecker stumbled and had to hustle to get back to the bag. There was some obstruction there. There's a big wide turn for the speedy Alan Pecker, and he lost his footing. As Shales now has 9 hits in 10 official at-bats. A quick throw by Augustin almost retired Alan Pecker. Yeah, they're going to have a conversation about it after the fact. And the skipper of the Pueblo Bandits is certainly voicing his displeasure. He thought that maybe they had recorded an out. As he makes his way back towards the dugout. His team off to a great start. So runners at first and second, a couple of hits for the Chiefs, and now it's the designated player, Bruno Matroni. Matroni, 1 for 6 here in Kimberley this weekend. has a couple of runs batted in. That came in the win over the AHI Reapers in Hill's first of 3 games yesterday. As Valdez misses up. And Matroni with a hitter's count, 2 balls and no strikes. He's stepped away from national team duties the last couple of years in Argentina, but was their longtime captain. He's the MVP of the ISC World Tournament in 2021 and had a mighty cut at that inside rise ball, but missed it. As Matroni knows he had a good pitch to work with as he slaps his right thigh in disgust. Trying to tie the game with 1 swing. Change up, down and in. Good work by Del Valle behind home plate to keep it in front of him. A mighty test for this young pitcher, Humberto Valdez. The youngster from Mexico. A sensational diving catch and a double play by Nestor Nova. That is as good as it gets in the sport from a defensive standpoint. That's a rocket off the bat of Matroni and the Dominican shortstop, Nestor Nova. Sensational defensive play. 3-0 Pueblo leading the Hill United Chiefs. Semifinal Sunday at the Jack Grafmeier Memorial Tournament.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
A sensational diving catch by Nestor Nova that turned into a double play to end the Chiefs' bottom of the first. And after giving up 3 solo home runs to this Bandits group, back to work goes Martin Gonzalez, facing the third baseman Mario Deuce. Gonzalez coming over this year. He played last year with the Northeast Drillers, one of the true high-end teams in the ISC. The Chiefs will face that bunch next weekend at an elite 6-team event in Mitchell, Ontario. That will be incredibly exciting with the field that will be on display there. And we'll have all the Chiefs games for you. And a lot of others, in fact, on Softball Premier TV next weekend, starting Friday at 5 Eastern Time from Mitchell, Ontario. But lots of Chiefs work left to be done in this semifinal. It has not started the way they had hoped for in any way, shape, or form. They hit it very well in the bottom of the first, but the incredible diving catch by Nova ended that threat. And Deuce with a good swing on the pitch from Gonzalez. Well, off the top of the show, talked about his demeanor. And nothing as a pitcher will test your demeanor more than giving up 3 solo home runs to start a game. But you have to have an ability to park it and come back. And when you have the right demeanor, those things are possible, as he has his second strikeout of this game as he retires Mario Deuce. And that brings to the plate the right fielder, Bryce Swick. And even the body language will tell you with Gonzalez, just has yet to find that rhythm. Swick went around, I thought, and the first base umpire thought so as well. Ball and a strike to Swick. Sierra Figueroa and Alex Del Valle all homered in the top of the first for Pueblo. Gonzalez loves to move the ball to all 4 quadrants. And when his location is good, he is very difficult to deal with. And a key addition to this Hill United staff for 2025, along with Schofield, of course, the ace. And one of the best in the business is Marco Diaz, and we saw him in pretty good early season form in the win last night over Barbuz with his 5-inning no-hitter and 11 strikeouts in that 7-0 Chiefs victory. I would guess he will get the ball if the Chiefs can find a way back into the championship final here. And Gonzalez goes upstairs. And back-to-back strikeouts to begin the top of the second inning. And some great late movement on that rise. As Gonzalez faces the opposing pitcher who bats in the 9-hole, Humberto Valdez. Certainly had a feeling coming into the weekend without having had an opportunity to watch any of the games from the other pool that the Chiefs were not involved in. That's just the way the schedule turned out, and with the games on a different park, been difficult to track those in more ways than one. Really thought that Kegel and Pueblo would probably lead the way in terms of the personnel and the preparation for the event, and that's what's happened. Gonzalez settles in. 3 straight strikeouts in the second, and the Chiefs on their way back to bat, but trailing in this semifinal affair by 3. Shortstop Lenny Villavazzo are the scheduled hitters for the Hill United Chiefs in the bottom of the second. looking to make their way back from an early 3-0 deficit on 3 solo Pueblo Bandit home runs to open the game. So a stunning start, but no shortage of quality hitting options for the Chiefs to erase that deficit, and they certainly hit the ball very well in the bottom half of the first. Brad Ezekiel hit a rope to left for an out, and then you can't hit it much harder than Bruno Matroni did, trying to find a hole between short and third, and Nestor Nova. Absolutely sensational diving catch that turned into an inning-ending double play. Tony Gonzalez, he is from Tijuana, Mexico, 2 for 6 here at the Jack Grafmeier Memorial. He's homered and driven in 3. That 3-run homer came in a win yesterday against the Midland Explorers. He batted .314 with the Chiefs in 2024. Very impressive at the ISC World Tournament. Batted .455 in Surrey with 3 doubles, 2 home runs, and 8 runs batted in. And Tony had a great championship final against the then New York Gremlins. He was 2 for 3 in the title game last August the 17th. Good eye, and the pitch from Valdez just up. So for the second straight inning, the Chiefs have the leadoff hitter aboard. And now it's Canadian national team member Quentin Bruce, the 29-year-old from Grand Valley, Ontario. One for 5 here in Kimberley is Quentin Bruce, and he is more than capable of getting on a hot streak. As Del Valle does well to once again keep the ball in front of him. My first viewing of the young catcher, and already very impressed. Both offensively, he has one of their 3 home runs today, and what he's done behind home plate. One of the young emerging stars in the sport. He had a great weekend at the Joe Santos Memorial. The 3rd weekend in May. Tournament won by the Bandits. They beat the Shock 3-1 in the championship final of that affair. As Bruce sends that low pitch out of play. Quentin, in his first year with the Chiefs in 2024, batted .277. He had 7 doubles, a couple of triples, 5 home runs, and 24 runs batted in. When you're down 3, you're looking for runners. And Bruce with a good eye to stay off that low change. A hitter's count for Quentin Bruce, who will once again represent Canada at a World Cup, as he did in 2022, where he had 11 hits. Fouled that low pitch back. And he's straight up old school, too. No batting gloves. No arm protection. The son of dairy farmers. And you won't meet a much nicer young person. Had some great conversations with him this weekend. And stays alive on the full count pitch as he asked home plate umpire whether that was a strike or a ball. Early in the season, not a lot of playing time, not a lot of at-bats. Although that was really what Jeff Ellsworth wanted out of this opening weekend for the Chiefs, is for some good reps for both the pitchers and the hitters. And Quentin Bruce has his second hit here in Kimberley this weekend. And this is a good piece of hitting. Valdez on the inner half, and Bruce pulls that into the gap. And now the always dangerous shortstop, Lenny Villavazzo. He is from Mexico. He has homered in this tournament. He launched a 2-run shot that barely went in the air. It was a line shot to straight away. And wouldn't mind another big fly right about now, would number 69. Hit it hard into a hole. And the bases will be loaded with nobody out in the bottom of the second. And the Chiefs in business. That's Villavazzo's second hit of the event. Now first baseman, and he's had a fine weekend in Pueblo Lopez. He's 5 for 7. He's doubled and driven in a couple. And while it's our opponent, especially not in the field this weekend, as Lopez awaits Valdez's pitch and rips it into right field. Here comes a second run. Bruce, with his great speed, scores, and 2 more runs batted in for Pueblo Lopez. And with one swing, the Chiefs draw to within a run. It is 3-2. 3 consecutive hits turns into a couple of Chiefs runs, and now runners at the corners, and still no one out. For the catcher, Luciano Biondi, or Lucci. Drops down a beautiful bunt and beat it out. Luciano Biondi with great speed, and this is well executed. Probably not expected either. I wouldn't have expected it with runners at the corners and nobody out, but Biondi drops down a beauty. And he has another hit. And now it's bases loaded time for Alan Pecker. Pecker drills this into right center. Big turn by Lopez, but Jeff Ellsworth will hold him. And Pecker has a run batted in, and the Hill United Chiefs have roared back to tie the game at 3. Second consecutive hit of the morning for Alan Pecker, the Argentinian national team member. And there's about to be some activity now for the Bandits. Brad Ezekiel, the batter, with the bases loaded, and this is not the guy you want to face in this situation ever. Could not have hit it much harder than his line out to Jason Augustin in left in the first inning. So the Chiefs with 5 consecutive base hits to tie the game and still looking for a lot more. Ball and a strike to the pride of Holyrood, Newfoundland. An 8-time All-World selection in his own right. This guy will go down when he's all said and done as one of the greatest Canadian hitters to ever play. And he's the most humble, bashful guy you will ever meet. He wants no part of that chatter. But you call it like you see it. And he has had an amazing career and still in the heart of it. Ball and 2 strikes, Stazical. Goes the other way. This is not going to be easy. But the catch is made by Roberto Sierra. And that is a large out for Humberto Valdez as he induces the pop-up to second. And now you have to deal with Nick Shales, who's just 9 for 10 with 4 home runs and 8 runs batted in. That's a season, not a weekend. Took that stride, elected not to swing, and takes strike 1. Calls Waterford, Ontario home now. Originally from Lismore in New South Wales in Australia. Ten-time All-World, 2-time ISC Tournament MVP in 2010 and 2015. And is swinging it at the top of his game this weekend. That's a trend that the Chiefs hope continues all season. Gets away from Del Valle, but with the backstop being so tight behind home plate here at Sunset Park, not really an opportunity for Lopez to scamper home. So the Chiefs have tied it with 3, but want more. 2 balls and a strike to Nick Shales. Just asked the umpire, was that a ball? The umpire said, yes, it was. Nick batted .237 in 2024. Left off the Australian national men's team for the upcoming World Cup. And I wonder if between last season and that, this is such a great player, headed to the Hall of Fame immediately when he's all said and done in the ISC. How Movic. That was a sensational play by the catcher to climb the ladder as quickly as he did to catch that rise ball. A full count to Shales. Bases loaded, 1 out. 3 in to tie the game for the Chiefs in the bottom of the second. Shales down the line. Extra bases again, and it's going to clear the bags is Alan Pecker, the last of three, and the Nick Shales show continues. My goodness. Valdez came up with the rise and left it in the middle. And Shales turned on it and ripped it to the left field fence in the corner. 10 for 11 is Nick Shales. 4 home runs, a triple, and 11 runs batted in. To put that in perspective, he had 23 runs batted in all of last season. We're not even done the weekend. We'll take a break. A new pitcher is Humberto Valdez gives way, and the Chiefs have exploded for 6. Longtime Dominican national team member Melvin Batista is the new pitcher, as the youngster Humberto Valdez gives way after the double. Pardon me, I think I mentioned triple, but it cleared the bags. The 3-run double off the bat of Nick Shales. His 10th hit in 11 official at-bats. And up to 11 runs batted in for the Chiefs, who have turned 3-0 deficit into a 6-3 lead. And there's still only 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. As the Pueblo Bandits throwing an absolute scare into the Chiefs when they had 3 solo homers off Martin Gonzalez to start the game in the top of the first. That was not something that I think anyone had penciled in on their bingo card when this morning started. Bruno Matroni, the batter, he was absolutely robbed of a base hit by Nestor Nova. Shortstop, diving catch into the hole, turned into an inning-ending double play. Melvin Batista was 0-2 in the 2023 ISC World Tournament. Pitched 6 innings. Gave up 9 runs. He is from the Dominican Republic. And has been around for a while. Pitched for the Dominican in the 2017 World Cup. As Humberto Valdez gives up 6 runs on 8 hits. And Batista wanted that pitch. Called outside. As Batista in search of his first strike as he's entered the game. In the bottom of the second, with the Chiefs now leading 6-3. Matroni. Augustin back to the track and will make the catch. Shales tags and scampers to third. Another well-hit ball off the bat of Matroni, but not quite enough to leave the yard. As the Chiefs have batted around in the bottom of the second. And Tony Gonzalez, who started all of it with a lead-off walk, and scored the first of 6 runs. And had a quality hack at that pitch from Batista. Always smiling. Tony Gonzalez. An infectious guy. And a very, very good hitter. From Tijuana in Mexico is Tony Gonzalez. Shakes off the first sign, and now will deliver. Batista just missing again. Trying to find his rhythm here in relief. And the rise misses up and in as Batista falls behind. 3 balls and a strike. This time he paints the outside corner to run the count full at 3-2. Tony Gonzalez on his way to hitting .455 at the ISC World Tournament last August, had 3 multi-hit games. And thought he'd drawn his second walk of the inning. Not so. So Batista comes in, does his job, gets a couple of outs. However, the Hill United Chiefs have turned 3-0 down into a 6-3 lead. Semifinal Sunday at the Jack Grafmeier Memorial in Kimberly, Wisconsin. Thanks to 6 runs in the bottom of the second, Martin Gonzalez back to work with a 3-run lead as he's getting set to face the top of the order. In 2 storylines, it was the top of the order that delivered 3 solo homers on the way to a 3-0 lead. And storyline number 2 is the long wait in between pitches with the 6-run bottom of the second inning. Gonzalez struck out the side in the top of the second as he faces Roberto Sierra. And Sierra has one of those 3 Pueblo Bandit home runs today. And leans into this, and he has his second. Roberto Sierra. Drills it to center field, and the Bandits, just like that, back to within a couple. His second home run of the game. And another player who homered off Gonzalez in the first is Pablo Figueroa. He pulled one over the right field fence. So the hitters are winning in this game. And that goes off, I think, the free hand of Biondi, who shakes it out. Hope that he's all right. Looks like he's going to be fine. As Justin Schofield continues to work down the line in potential relief. And this is whack too, but foul off the bat of Figueroa. Ball and 2 strikes the count. Outside from Gonzalez, and runs the count to 2-2. Four home runs in the game for the Bandits, 2 off the bat of Roberto Sierra. In this high-scoring affair. Popped in the air towards Gonzalez, who will take care of business. And now, shortstop Dexter Nova, wearing his Dominican national team helmet to bat. Nestor flew out to Quentin Bruce and left his first at-bat. Was 2 for 15 with a double and a couple of runs batted in at last year's ISC World Tournament in Surrey. He also spent some time in the past with the Bear Creek Express. Was 3 for 14 in the Dominican World Cup qualifying appearance, of which they finished first to earn a berth into the World Cup in Prince Albert. And this is drilled foul. As the Bandit batters have brought their hitting shoes to the park, and there's the big smile on Tony's face. If you have ever played the middle of the diamond, you know that these plays are not even close to being easy, but Gonzalez, great read, excellent jump, and made it look relatively routine. So after giving up the leadoff homer here in the third, Martin Gonzalez induces a couple of pop-ups. Here's another. It goes a little farther and will end up in the glove of Alan Pecker. The Bandits not interested in going away easy. They cut the lead to 6-4.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see.
In this semifinal, the Chiefs with that big second inning. 2 Roberto Sierra home runs have the Bandits within a pair. On the other diamond, semifinal number 2 is going on, and thanks to our great friend Blair Setford, who I call Mr. ISC. The Kegel Black Knights lead the AHI Reapers 6-1 in the bottom of the third in that game. Kegel was a perfect 4-0, including a 6-2 triumph over Pueblo in pool play the last couple of days. A long way to go here. There's Quentin Bruce, who has a base hit in the contest to lead things off for Hill United against Melvin Batista, who replaced the starter Humberto Valdez. Batista had one really tough outing at last year's ISC. It came at the hands of the JB Bombers. He did not record an out and gave up 6 runs on 5 hits, but did a nice job against the first 2 Chiefs batters that he dealt with in the bottom of the second. And he'll need more of the same if the Bandits are to hang in this one. And here's left fielder Quentin Bruce. Check swing, and the throw gets away, and Bruce racing and diving in safely to second as Mario Deuce's throw got away. And Quentin Bruce, as a result, finds himself at second base. Every element you could want in this Chiefs lineup, including no shortage of speed with the likes of Alan Pecker and Biondi, and of course the gentleman that just made his way to second. Nick White not in the lineup. He might be as fast as anyone. Villavazo takes strike 1. Villavazo with a hit and scored one of the 6 runs in the second. Another hit for Villavazo. He has 2 and a run batted in for number 69. And it's 7-4. Kept his hands back on that inside pitch. Went through it and hit it into left field. An RBI base hit for Villavazo. And once again, the lead is 3. Is Lopez just able to get out of the road of that Batista pitch? This one well out of play. Lopez with a hit. And a couple of runs batted in his last time up. As his terrific weekend continues, Lopez now 6 for 8 here in Kimberly, with a double and 4 runs batted in of his own. Viavazzo, the base runner at first, and he'll have a chance to make his way to second. It gets away from Swick, and that allows Viavazzo to move up another 60 feet. So a couple of back-to-back mistakes for the Bandits. As Lopez's hot bat continues to smolder, as he's 2 for 2 and 7 for 9 on the weekend. Biondi laid down a bunt. Now Viavazzo is caught in a rundown, and he's going to be tagged out by Mario Deuce. And Biondi's mad at himself because that one was probably as close to a suicide squeeze situation, at the very least a safety squeeze, and Biondi, who had a beautiful bunt base hit his first time up, couldn't get it down and couldn't make contact. That left Viavazzo in a lurch. That one takes a wicked hop and might very well be scored a base hit. That's a difficult play for Sierra, who's had an amazing morning with a bat. He's homered twice. This is a hard hit ball that took a wicked hop and will be scored a base hit, as Luciano Biondi has back-to-back hits against the Bandits. First and third for Alan Pecker. He has 2 hits and a run batted in his own right today. Pecker up to 4 runs batted in here in Kimberly. On one bounce, Batista, quick release. Nice work by the pitcher. And whether it is this sport or the other sport of ball, known as baseball, Dominican players always seem to have that little extra flair. It's a good play by the pitcher, Melvin Batista, to record the second out. And here's Brad Ezekiel. Popped out with the bases loaded in the bottom of the second. He's 0 for 2 this morning. 5 for 9 in the tournament. But his first out was an absolute line drive screamer right at Jason Augustin in left. Couldn't have hit it much harder. He'd love to cash in 2 more as Alan Pecker is moved up. As he's running for catcher Luciano Biondi, the courtesy runner with 2 outs. Ball and 2 strikes to Ezekiel. Facing Batista for the first time. Humberto Valdez, the young Mexican right-hander, gave up 6 runs on 8 hits before giving way in the second. Batista works the inside portion and really couldn't have put it in a better spot to get a great hitter. So 1 run in the third, and once again the lead for the Chiefs in the semifinal is 3. "11 Hill United hits have turned into 7 runs, and a new pitcher is Justin Schofield, as Martin Gonzalez gave up 4 runs on 4 hits, and they were all solo home runs. 2 of them off the bat of Roberto Sierra. Schofield has made 1 appearance here at Sunset Park in Kimberley. Worked 4 innings in an 11-1 triumph over the Midland Explorers. Gave up 1 run on 1 hit. It was a double. Struck out 11 and walked 3. Get some encouragement, a couple of laughs along the way. And the one thing Justin will want to do in this appearance that was difficult yesterday is getting ahead of hitters, especially the leadoff man, as he faces Edgar Prischker. And that helps you get ahead in the count as it's fouled away by the veteran Prischker, who calls Hidalgo, Texas home. Schofield back with the Chiefs after a 5-year absence. A Canadian national team member who will represent his country next month at the World Cup. Was very solid in qualifying last year in PA. Change up. And a good one that Prischker was ahead of. No balls and 2 strikes to Edgar Prischker. He's had a couple of stints down the line to warm up and get ready as Gonzalez was in trouble early. Swung on, and a good recovery by Biondi. As the batter, Prischker, was not ready to go after it was called strike 3, and he doesn't like it very much. And Schofield begins the top of the 4th with a strikeout. And now facing left fielder Jason Augustin. When I looked up this name this morning, which has an interesting spelling for Jason, find some minor league baseball statistics registered to this gentleman's name. Was unable to find him anywhere in terms of softball prep. Finds himself behind in the count. And that is blown by him. So Schofield getting ahead and efficiently with back-to-back strikeouts as he enters the game in relief. Mario Deuce, the batter. He struck out versus Martin Gonzalez in the second. Gonzalez, in his 3 innings of work, did end up with 4 strikeouts. And Schofield trying to shut the door here. And another terrific changeup that Deuce was well out in front of. For many, COVID was an incredibly difficult year. But for Justin Schofield, he credits that year for completely reinventing him as a pitcher. And that's just about one thing. That's about his work. Popped in the air, Gonzalez. And a fine beginning for Schofield. 1-2-3 go the Bandits in the top of the 4th. The Chiefs lead by 3 in this semifinal in Kimberley. Shales, Matroni, and Gonzalez due up. I'm not sure if they name an MVP of the Jack Grafmeier Memorial Tournament, but I know who would be the leading candidate. 2 for 2 with a double, 3 more runs batted in for Nick Shales in this game. He is 10 for 11 in this event. His last at-bat, putting the Chiefs ahead, a bases-clearing triple, or double, pardon me. As Batista continues to work in place of the starter, Humberto Valdez. Chiefs came into the day having scored 40 runs in their 4 round robin games, a team batting average of .453, and I don't think those numbers are going down. 7 spot already in this game. None of their round robin games lasted past the 5th inning. The Bandits trying to change that and threw an absolute scare into the Chiefs with 3 solo home runs in the top of the 1st. As the clouds starting to form here at beautiful Sunset Park. What a setting, literally. Batista to Shales. And Nick was not cheated on that swing. when you're as hot as he is right now, you have to feel like looks like a beach ball coming at you. A full count to Shales. It was a full count that he hit the double off Valdez down the left field line. This time he takes a look at strike 3. So Nick Shales makes an out for just the second time on the weekend, and he didn't like it. He thought he had drawn a leadoff walk here in the bottom of the 4th. It was close, as Batista has his second consecutive strikeout as he deals with Bruno Matroni, who's unlucky to be 0 for 2 with how he has swung it so far. In the first, he was absolutely robbed by shortstop Nestor Nova on a diving play to snag a hot hit line drive. And then he pushed Jason Augustin all the way back to the wall. Again, it's Nova, deep in the hole, but the throw is wide. And a base hit for Matroni. Nova has exceptional range. Went a long way. Quick turn, but couldn't deliver it quite the way he wanted to. Even if he had, Matroni might have been safe nonetheless. So 1 on and 1 out for Tony Gonzalez, who's 0 for 1 on the day, has walked and scored a run. Matroni delivering the 12th hit of the contest for the Chiefs. Nova, short hop for 1. The turn not in time. There's the Nova-Sierra combo. Turns into just 1 out. Not the 2 that maybe they'd hope for, but that's, again, Nova showing great hands on that little short hop before the flip. Quentin Bruce has scored twice today. He singled and reached on an error to third baseman Mario Deuce. You've got an awfully good lineup when this guy's in the 6 hole, especially when he's swinging it the way he wants to. Sierra, another slick fielder. That's a good inning from Elvin Batista. Gave up the 1 hit, an infield hit, and it remains 7-4 Chiefs at the end of 4 in this semifinal affair at the Jack Grafmeier Memorial Tournament.
To none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait.
Justin Schofield to face Bryce Swick, Humberto Valdez, or now Melvin Batista, depending on how that goes, and Roberto Sierra, who has homered twice. Those are the scheduled hitters for the Pueblo Bandits here in the 5th. They trail it 7-4. Swick squares the bunt, and it's strike 1. And again, Schofield working from in front. And the way Sierra is hitting, you would certainly like him to come up with no one on base if possible. All 4 Bandits hit runs have been solo home runs, given up by Martin Gonzalez, who left the game after 3 innings. Change up and a gem. That's the pitch to me that over the last couple of years has really made huge strides for Schofield. You know, he can get it up there at 83, 84. When he spots the change well, makes him even more difficult to hit. That's his 3rd strikeout in the 4 batters he's faced. And indeed, he's dealing with Melvin Batista. Batista's first at-bat of the game, replacing Humberto Valdez in that number 9 spot. Pretty good rip at that. Looked like an inside drop from Schofield. Good location to broadcast the game from. The rise swung on and missed, and Roberto Sierra, when you've hit 2 home runs in 2 at-bats, he's so anxious. He tried to get up there, and Batista only has 2 strikes on him. I don't blame him for being anxious. When you've hit 2 home runs, you can't wait to get back. This is lifted out of play by the Bandits pitcher, and now he's shaking out his right hand, and he's in some discomfort. Yeah, you see him shaking out that hand after the swing. And that's his top hand. Asks for time and looks to settle back in, facing a 1-2 count from Schofield. Two and 2 to the Dominican, Batista. Longtime veteran of their national team. And there's strike 3. Batista almost twisted himself into the ground on this swing. Schofield comes in. Good late movement. And he has a second consecutive strikeout here to begin the 5th. And now it's Sierra. 2 for 2 with 2 solo home runs. The first one just cleared the fence. The second one, there was never a doubt. Missed outside to even it at 1-1. Roberto Sierra having himself a day with 2 solo homers. Both of those off of Martin Gonzalez. From Chihuahua, Mexico, is Sierra. And had a mighty cut at that pitch. And did not miss it by a bunch. He is some locked in, number 12. Schofield in search of a second straight 1-2-3 inning, and has it. Justin Schofield has brought his A game to the circle. 5 strikeouts, 6 up and 6 down in relief, and it remains 7-4 for the Chiefs.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
So you see on your screen, 6 runs in the second paved the way. There should be one more run on that board in the 4th inning, or in the 3rd inning, pardon me, for the Chiefs. It is 7-4. They did not score in the 4th. Lenny Villavazzo drove in the last Chiefs run. He's 2 for 2 today with a run batted in. As he heats up, another player from the country of Mexico, Lenny Villavazzo, packs a punch in that frame. As Melvin Batista misses on the outer portion. Villavazzo now 3 for 10 with 5 runs batted in. So he's made the most of his at-bats in terms of cashing in runners. Looks like Blake Hunter will draw in as a pinch hitter. He's in the on-deck circle for the Chiefs. A newcomer to the team this year after playing with the New York Gremlins last season. That has been the Batista bread and butter since he entered the game with his team down 6-3. He's given up just the 1 run. Has really settled the game down, as has Schofield. Look like we might be on our way to a 12-8 type of game through 3. Rise ball misses up and away that time. Full count to Lenny Villavazzo. Hit .289 last season for the Chiefs. 11 homers and 33 runs batted in. This one, fairly well struck, but fairly routine for Jason Augustin, who came over in left to make the catch. That one in the just miss category off the bat of Lenny Villavazzo, who is retired for the first time in the game. And now hitting for Pipolo Lopez is Blake Hunter. And Lopez was 2 for 2 on the day with a couple of runs batted in. And Blake Hunter faced one pitch, and he was plunked. And you hope that Blake is all right. He's got that elbow and arm protection. And not sure if it got him on the top of the wrist. That's where it looks like it was headed. Hope he's all right. Doesn't look like he's in a ton of discomfort. And will stay in the game. And another pinch hitter in Kyle Ezekiel, who's hitting in Luciano Biondi's spot. As Jeff Ellsworth early in the year trying to get as many possible at-bats for his players as he can. Kyle's 2 for 7 here in Kimberley. He's doubled and driven in a couple. Ball and 2 strikes to Kyle. Brad's brother. One out with Hunter at first. Ezekiel stays alive. Batista has most certainly worked away from right-handed hitters. Has a couple of strikeouts in relief of the starter, Humberto Valdez. Stayed away again and wanted that pitch. At last check, the Kegel Black Knights had a commanding 6-1 lead in the other semifinal. Like the Chiefs, they were a perfect 4-0 in the round robin. And after working out, thought he'd work back in for strike 3. Kyle hit .310 last season, with 4 doubles, a homer, and 6 runs batted in. And he'll draw a 1-out walk here in the bottom of the 5th. So the Chiefs back in business again with a runner in scoring position in the bottom half of the 5th inning. And Nick White continues the pinch hitting train in place of Alan Pecker. And this guy was hard to keep out of the lineup today for sure. 6 for 9 this weekend. Homered, driven in 5. Had a 3-run homer in last night's 7-0 victory over Barbuzz in the final round robin game for the Hill United Chiefs. The 6-time and reigning ISC World Champions. Hoping to make it 7 in 2025. This year's ISC World Tournament moved up due to a big addition in the international schedule, which is the World Games in China, which will be held in early August, right in the window that the ISC World Tournament would normally be played in. Nick White, the 21-year-old from Truro, Nova Scotia. And he has shown in this event what a dangerous hitter he can be. He has a bunt base hit. He is homered. Done such a good job of hitting the ball where it's been pitched. Used all 3 fields. was 5 for 5 at one point, had a 4-hit game in his first outing of the weekend. Is all the position players basically with 3 games of the 4 to participate in. Looked to drop down a bunt again, but fails in that attempt. Mentioned it a lot and will continue to as the season moves on. This guy gets down a bunt or hits a ball on the ground, especially to the left side of the infield. With his great speed, he has a chance to be on base. But he can rip you too, and he has another hit. Hunter will be held, and the bases are loaded. Nick White with his 7th hit of the weekend. 7 for 10. The Canadian national team member, what an honor for him to earn a spot on the 16-man roster for the World Cup in a month in Prince Albert. And another visit, as it looks like some weather is starting to move in. And if nothing else, you'd like to finish this game for sure. A final potentially awaits, but with travel arrangements and being early in the year for teams to get 5 games in, we'll see how things are handled if some of the weather that's been reported really comes in and makes its mark. So the bases are loaded for Brad Ezekiel, who's 0 for 3 on the day. This guy doesn't have a lot of offers in games. There was a time, and it's not like I'm around this level of fast pitch softball all the time for years and years, like someone like a Blair Setford or Joe Todd, but I think I went about a 20 straight game stretch of watching Brad Ezekiel either in club play or international play where he had at least a hit in every game. And guess what? He's done it again. Hard to keep that man down. First hit of the morning, and it's a 2-run single up the middle to extend the lead. Right on cue. Just mentioned the type of streak. I think I've only witnessed 2 or 3 games he's ever played where he didn't have at least 1 hit in a ball game. And there's another hit, his 6th of the tournament. 2 more runs batted in for Ezekiel. He's up to 7 in the event. And that is a big blow here in the 5th to turn it into a 5-run advantage, the biggest of the day. And now you have to deal with Nick Shales, who did strike out. He's 10 for 12. With 11 runs batted in, drove in 3 with a bases-clearing double back in that 6-run second inning. As Shales pulls it foul. Still runners at first and second and only 1 out. And a ball into the gap here would have a chance to end the game. The 7-run rule after 5. And we're going to need somebody to turn the lights on here pretty quickly. It started off as a beautiful, beautiful morning when this game began at 9. And Shales tried to end the game with that swing, but missed. We will certainly keep you posted on social media. If weather indeed forces any change. Right now, the championship final is slated to begin when this game is over, about 20 or 25 minutes after. Thank you, Blair Setford, for passing along that the Kegel Black Knights have won the other semifinal against the AHI Reapers to the tune of 10-1. Blair has connections. Well, I guess when you've spent that much time around the ISC and done the great work he has for as long as he has, you should have a few connections and get some scores. Shales. And that finds its way out of play. Nice hustle to go towards it by the young catcher Del Valle. He's going to be a good one. He's homered today. All four of Pueblo's runs have come by way of solo homers. Interestingly enough, the Chiefs do not have a home run in the game, but they have 14 hits and have 9 runs. Batista wanted that one right where he was able to get Shales in the last inning for a strikeout. And the lights have been turned on. 2-2. 2 on, 1 out, bottom of the 5th. And now the count runs full. And the wind is picked up a little bit too. And looks to be blowing towards right center by way of the trees. The flags really aren't moving very much. As Batista, in relief of Humberto Valdez, settles back into the circle, takes the sign, and about to deliver a payoff pitch. Shales goes the other way, and he has another hit and another run batted in. 11 for 13 is Nick Shales with 12 runs batted in. And while this event does not have the type of competition that the Chiefs will face next weekend in Mitchell, Ontario, 11 for 13 with 12 runs batted in and 4 home runs. That is nothing to sneeze at. That's a hitting performance maybe unlike I've ever seen in a weekend tournament. And the difference is 10-4. Again, the block by Del Valle, who's done a really good job keeping balls in front of him all morning long. So Ezekiel at second with what could be a game-ending run with a 6-run difference, and now I can smell the rain. Matroni with a chance to end it. Drills it, and that will do it. Ezekiel comes home, and Matroni flares it into right. And the Chiefs score 4 more in the bottom half of the 5th to win it 11-4. In a game that started in a rough manner as the Bandits opened the game with 3 solo home runs in the top of the 1st to take a 3-0 lead. But as you see on your screen, that 6th spot in the 2nd turned things around. And the Chiefs' vaunted hitting lineup too much for the likes of Valdez and Batista. So it will be, if the weather does not force a cancellation, the Hill United Chiefs and the Kegel Black Knights coming up next in the championship final. We'll keep you abreast on the developing weather situation. For now, so long from Sunset Park in Kimberley.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none.